time for the 49ers Rush Podcast.
The most versatile player in all of college football last year was none other than Jack Colletto, who comes in at number 67 on our 49ers roster countdown for 2023. And I hate it. This roster, this is the point where it just gets so tough. 53 people make this team. That's it. Jack Colletto coming in at 67 just seems like a crime to me. I want him so much higher, but as we continue this roster countdown, I think it makes sense once we get to it. Again, we had 5 executive producers rank 1 through 91. We put all those numbers together, and Jack Colletto came in at 67. A shout out to Josh, the 49ers guru, for putting together all this research. Man, he crushed it. Now, Jack Colletto is just weird, fun, exciting, versatile, whatever you want to use. He's an athlete. I put fullback on the graphic because that's where the Niners played him throughout minicamp, but he could do it all. And this report was just hard to write because he just does so much. Now, who is he? He wears jersey number 49, 6'3", 240. Now, the athletic comp, he was not invited to the combine. But I started playing with his numbers and going through a whole bunch of research, like who's he closest to on the 49ers roster and whatever else. Fred Warner. That's what you have to think of. When I describe Jack Colletto athletically and I go through these numbers, Fred Warner. That's what I see physically. 6'3", 240. 31-inch arms, that's a little short. He's 24 years old. Ran a 4.8, 540, so he's a little slower than Fred. 165, 10 yards, 7.33 cone. 36.5-inch vertical, 9'10 broad, 17 bench press. So a little slower, but that's what he's built like. He played high school ball up in Seattle, Washington, Camas High School, graduated mechanical engineering at Oregon State, played 1 year at Arizona Western, then transferred to Oregon State. Now, let's there's a lot to dive into here because it's hard to watch film. Because he's playing quarterback, he's playing fullback, he's playing tight end, he's playing linebacker, he's playing wide receiver. He plays everywhere. So it's hard to do a Patreon breakdown because he's used so infrequently at different spots. Like he'll get like 15 snaps at linebacker, he'll get 5 snaps at tight end, he'll get 4 snaps at quarterback. So it's hard to like dive into one thing that he does well because he's the jack of all trades. But whenever you say that, right, what's the rest of the saying? Jack of all trades, ace of none. I'm not sure where his calling card will be. And I'm not sure the 49ers know this either. But they do know he belongs. So let's go through the journey that is Jack Colletto. And I'm sure this episode will not do justice to what this kid has done because it's impressive. But the one thing that you got to know for sure, he's a football player that belongs, okay? Senior in high school. He led Camas to a state title, 14-0. He was the 22nd ranked national team that year. Camas High School was Seattle Times Player of the Year, Gatorade Player of the Year for Washington. Earned League Player of the Year honors as a senior. Listen to these stats: threw for 2,846 yards, 27 touchdowns. That's 1 year. Added 1,253 yards rushing and 21 touchdowns rushing as a senior. Through the air, through the ground, did it all. Then he goes to Arizona Western, played 10 games for them. Threw for over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, carried the ball 43 times, scored 9 touchdowns on the ground. Then he transfers to Oregon State. Now listen to these awards that he compiled while he was with Oregon State. My favorite thing about him, the Hornung Award winner. I know I mispronounced that name. The nation's most versatile player award winner. He won that. Phil Steele, All-American first team as an all-purpose player, All-Pac-12 first team, Associated Press All-Pac-12, Academic All-District, Campbell Trophy nominee. That it goes to the academic Heisman winner. He was a nominee. He didn't win it. But again, what have we learned through back-to-back years of these 49ers roster countdowns? The 49ers like intelligence. This guy might be the smartest player in the freaking country. He made the semifinalists for it, right? He can do it all. And so Horning Award weekly honor roll member over and over again. Campbell Trophy semifinalist. He took snaps at quarterback, running back, fullback, linebacker. Let's go through his college progression, okay? 2018 was his sophomore year. Played in 8 games. Played quarterback, 23 of 47 attempts for 201 yards. Also ran the ball 31 times, scored 5 touchdowns. Scored 2 rushing touchdowns in an overtime victory at Colorado. Junior year, 2019. Moved to linebacker, but saw some action at quarterback. He was playing both. Linebacker, again, his comp to me is Fred Warner, body style. Played in 4 games, redshirted. Didn't get a lot of stuff, but did get 1 rushing touchdown. 2020, redshirt junior year. Pac-12 academic honor roll. Played in 7 games. That was a COVID year, right? Shortened, whatever. 14 tackles. He ran the ball 15 times, 2 touchdowns. Made 3 tackles in the tackle for loss in the win over California. I mean, just his stats are weird, right? 2021 redshirt junior year. This is where he kind of took over. Made appearances in 12 games. All right. He had 31 rush attempts for 8 touchdowns. Did you hear that? 31 rush attempts, 8 touchdowns. He was kind of the Cam Newton goal line quarterback. They put him back there in shotgun, snap it to him, quarterback lead. He just plowed through guys. Wouldn't be denied. Short yardage situation, kind of goal line runner is what he was. He also caught a 1-yard touchdown. Also had 8 tackles and an interception. I mean, you can just go through all this stuff. It's just weird how he bounced back and forth during these games. It was incredible. His senior year, 2022, just did so much. Ran for so many different touchdowns, whatever else. It's just weird what he was able to do. Now, if we look at Jack Colletto's entire college stats, they're weird. Quarterback, 25 of 50, 50% completion percentage, not good. He's got a really long wind-up, trick play, right? They put him back there, and they're kind of goal line quarterback, whatever. He'd act like he's running it, step back, throw a deep ball, things like that. Finished with an 80.7 passer rating. Running back, 111 rushing attempts for 22 touchdowns. The dude's got 22 rushing touchdowns, 4 receptions, 37 yards, 1 touchdown, 50 tackles, 1.5 tackle for loss, 1 interception, 1 pass breakup, 1 fumble recovery, 2 forced fumbles, kick returner. He's a kick returner. And on top of that, he's got a blocked punt. Like, come on, man. He's just a fluid athlete that can kind of do everything. Very physical. Whether you watch him play linebacker, fullback, running back, he's physical. He likes contact. Now, the Niners brought him in and gave him the 3rd most guaranteed money for all undrafted free agents. There's really just 3. Actually, there's 4. He got $110,000 guaranteed. So Deshaun Jameson 1, Joey Fisher 2, Colletto 3, M. Manning 4. They like this guy. Now, on top of the Niners, he chose us. He got 4 teams offered him deals as an undrafted free agent. He came to the Niners above all of them. Sean Payton, the new head coach for the Broncos, pitched him as the role of the Taysom Hill role that he did with the Saints. He wanted to use Colletto the same way for the Broncos. He chose the 49ers. Now, why? Well, look where the 49ers are playing him. Fullback, right? Now, this is not an anti-Kyle Juszczyk anything. I love Kyle Juszczyk, and Kyle Juszczyk belongs on the Niners as long as he wants to be here. But it does seem like this is the quote-unquote heir apparent to Kyle Juszczyk. I don't know what the conversations are behind the scenes. I don't think that the 49ers are trying to move on from Kyle. Perhaps Kyle's ready to move on. He might say, hey, I got a year or 2 left in me. This is a training program. And if you're Jack Colletto, it makes sense. Who pays the most to the fullback position in the NFL? The 49ers do. We got the number 1 paid fullback. We've made this guy a Pro Bowler, Kyle Juszczyk, which Kyle Juszczyk's a Pro Bowler without the 49ers. But if you want a long career in the NFL, the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan are the perfect place. You're talking about a guy that can contribute on special teams right off the bat and have a future role making some big-time money with the 49ers. Now, the problem is, can you keep this guy on the 53-man roster? I don't know how you do it, because if you waive Jack Colletto, he is claimed. Period. The Denver Broncos will claim him. So this is not a player the 49ers can just stash. It's not. That's why it's tricky. We got him 67 on here. This is not a player you can stash. 4 teams made offers to him. He is gone if you waive him at any point. So Jack Colletto has to prove he is a special teams ace straight out of camp. because you cannot roster 6 running backs. I mean, you've got, okay, again, Kyle Juszczyk 1, CMC 2, Elijah Mitchell 3, Jordan Mason, then you've got TDP. Like, you can't keep him as just a backup fullback. He has to start on every special teams group and be a stud. You've got to prove that in camp. If he can do that, then you're making that roster. But, man, that is an uphill climb. That's why we have him at 67. I want him to be higher, but as we go through this list, I think you'll figure out why he is where he is. I don't know what it looks like. I don't see him contributing this year offensively outside of a Kyle Juszczyk injury. But, man, this is going to be weird because the Niners have built this behemoth roster that is a juggernaut that is just going to be so difficult to make this team. But we'll see. I'm excited. Jack Colletto, the most versatile player in college football last year, coming onto a team that utilizes versatility as one of their key assets in roster construction. I hope we can find a way to stash him. I really, really do. Because Jack Colletto belongs on this team. Kyle Shanahan wants him on this team. Colletto wants to be on this team. I hope they can make it work out. And for us, we'll just keep counting them down.